I never imagined how much my life could open up by telling the world the one thing that I never wanted anyone to know about me. Uncovered is about taking off our masks and embracing our stories, all of it, the good with the bad. I almost chose to stay silent for my entire lifetime because I believed the lie that I was alone in my struggle. But the truth is, I wasn't alone, and neither are you. I'm Nicole Mischke, and this is a story of someone courageous enough to be uncovered. Brene Brown says, when you don't own your story, you have to hustle for worthiness. Paul Senescall knows that hustle all too well.
Player of the year for the state of Washington for football, full ride scholarship, graduated college, beautiful wife, luckiest man in the world. We have 2 beautiful kids, we got a nice boat, own a home. On the outside, those material things that people see, like he's got it all together, they didn't know I was drinking a 5th a night just to deal with my own shame and my own guilt. July 7th, 2008, well, let's backtrack a couple days. Probably 4th of July, my phone had been ringing 4, 5, 6 times. I was out at Priest Lake, and it was my brother Luke, and I ignored it. 3 days later, I'm back at football practice and got a call to go see my head coach. I remember him handing me the phone, and I spoke to a man that I didn't recognize the voice, and it was my dad. And he had told me that my brother and his son had just hung himself. The first thing I did was go get a bottle of whiskey, and for a long time I wondered what I would, what if I picked up the phone when he called? Why did I ignore those 5, 6 phone calls? What did he want to say? My dependency snuck up on me, but at the same time, it hit me real hard. I full on looked in the mirror and I was like, I have a problem. And I literally told myself to the mirror, I have a problem. I'm staging pints and water bottles all over my house, like Mission Impossible. I was filling up water bottles with vodka, and I would water it down a little bit and put it in a gym bag. And then I would have a couple more hidden in my closet, and there were just water bottles. To the outside eye, I could leave it on my nightstand and it was a water bottle. You start doing things that, if that addiction was gone, I would totally just say, this is not okay. Driving, picking my son up from daycare and having a half a 5th down by the time I got home. I knew on paper I am drinking and driving with a 2-year-old in the back seat. But guess what? I'll be home in 7 minutes. The alcohol's not going to hit me until, 15 minutes. I was just ashamed of who I'd become. I was to the point of driving up 5 miles where I live now. I had thoughts of literally just keeping going off the hill because I wanted to end. But at the same time, I knew I couldn't kill myself because my brother went out that way. But if I accidentally drove off the road and it ended, it would be okay. I wasn't killing myself, and my dad wouldn't have to have 2 of his kids who died by killing himself. And if I had lived, it was an opportunity for me to get help, without coming out and telling people. Opening up was more forced upon me because I was terminated. I had a 5th a day habit. I would wake up at 2 in the morning and usually finish the bottom of the 5th. I went to work that morning. There was a smell of alcohol, and I got a random test. I was terminated on the spot. I just remember literally breaking down and telling her I was so tired. An addict is the hardest working person in the world. They balance their life and their addiction, and they don't commingle. My wife, for the most part, had no idea how bad it was. I want more people to know how I feel right now versus how I felt 2 years ago, and the shame and the guilt and the weight and the pain of what a bottle did to me If people could literally like plug into my brain and feel where I'm at today, more people would be open about communicating an addiction or depression or a substance issue. It needs to be talked about. Everybody has problems. There's no perfect family. Somebody somewhere is watching this right now and saying, I have a problem, but nobody needs to know about it. Well, open up and talk. It's okay. We're here.
Paul's wife, Becky, is also opening up now, realizing she had her own shame to work through as she fought against a label she never thought she'd have, wife to an alcoholic.
For me, it was hard because I realized I felt like a failure, probably as much as him, in the fact of I never dreamed I would marry an alcoholic. I wanted this, strong Christian home for my kids to role model after, and instead I'm finding water bottles of vodka around our house. And one, I didn't want to admit to myself I had married something I said I was never going to. I didn't want to admit to my family, and divorce was never an option. And I felt kind of stuck in this hole of, okay, am I going to be unhappy for the rest of my life? I want my husband back. I want the man I fell in love with back, but he didn't want to change. When things finally hit bottom and it all came out, I felt like I had an outlet. Like, now I can admit he's failed, I can leave. But then there's that part of me that when he did finally sit down and admit to me what was going on, I'll never forget the words of him saying how tired he was. And that's when I knew this was not just a man that was lying to me. This was somebody that was truly hurting. And then the love of a wife came back to me, and I realized I needed to fight for him and us and for our son and our future children. And thank God I made that choice. It took a year before he decided he wanted to come out with his story and hopefully help other people. He wrote an article for Exceptional Gent, and once it came out, my inbox was flooded of women that were in the same shoes, and all of a sudden this became our story and our way of helping people. So Paul is able to help the person struggling, and I'm able to help the spouse, and know it's a really lonely place when you're in the thick of it. It's a really lonely place when you're coming out of it, and it was a lonely place for a long time for me. And now I feel like God has put us in a place where we can help other people and let them know you're not alone. We've been there, and we hope that people see our testimony as a way out of it as well. And if we can do it, it's a lot of hard work, but we believe that anyone can do it, especially if you have the grace of God and your faith in the center of it.
Thank you so much for watching. And if this story impacted you or touched your heart, please share it. But I also want you to know that what I'm doing here with Uncovered would not be possible without the support of Dr. Rob DeRoche. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm a local dentist here in Spokane with Smile Source. And I've been a dentist for over 20 years and a husband and a father for over 30. And I've witnessed the power unleashed in someone's life when they remove their shame. We love our community, and we really are behind the mission of what you have here with Uncovered. I believe that if even one person can see these stories and be inspired and be courageous to do the same, that their life will certainly be better, and I think it'll have an effect on everybody around them, and our whole community will be better off.